In Parsha Beshalach, we read about the famous miracle of Kriyas Yamsuf, the splitting of the Red Sea. Yet the Medrash describes to us that Hashem didn't just split the sea, he didn't just split the waters, but Hashem actually made a condition when he was creating the waters that they better split when the Jews need to cross them when leaving Egypt, otherwise they're going to cease to exist. And when the ocean kept its promise of actually splitting, then now they were validated and they were able to keep existing as an ocean. Now, this begs the question, why would Hashem need to do that? Hashem's the all-powerful. Hashem is above nature. Why does he need to set a precondition with the waters that they better agree to split when the Jews need to cross? Why not just split the ocean when it comes? Hashem's in control. He could override the ocean. So I'm first going to discuss the philosophical answer, and then we're going to discuss its fascinating life application. The explanation is like this. If Hashem didn't precondition Kriyas Yamsuf into the waters, then what would the waters be experiencing when Hashem would do the miracle? The sea would be the sea, flowing water. Hashem would cancel the sea for a moment to allow Kriyas Yamsuf, and the sea will go back to being just that, the sea. The sea would have no connection to the miracle. The ocean would cease to be as Hashem splits it. That's not an ocean. An ocean doesn't split. An ocean is the natural flowing of waters. We have stopped the ocean in order to make the miracle. Now the miracle stops and the ocean goes back to being ocean. The ocean would have no connection to the miracle. The experience of the miracle would be suspending the reality of the ocean. But when Hashem preconditioned into the existence of the waters, into the existence of the ocean, you can exist as an ocean. You just have to know that you're going to need to be in with me on this miracle of Kriyas Yamsuf. Then the experience of the miracle of the splitting of the sea wasn't against the nature of the sea, wasn't canceling the nature of the sea, or suspending the nature of the sea. It actually validated the nature of the sea. Part of the sea's nature, which naturally looks like flowing waters, is that when the time comes, it's going to split, and that is part of the DNA of the waters. That gives the waters rights to exist, and yes, the waters generally flow, but part of the reality of part of the DNA of the sea, of the water, is the miracle. The miracle was part of the definition of the water, that actually the experience of splitting the sea didn't weaken or cancel the water, but actually gave strength and validity and authenticity, and this is what allows the water to exist. That's why Hashem preconditioned the miracle into the water at the time of creation, instead of just overriding the water, so that the splitting of the sea should be part of the ocean's experience itself, shouldn't be suspending the ocean's experience to create a side reality called a miracle, called the splitting of the sea. Now this might sound abstract, but what does this mean in real life? Oftentimes in life, people are called on to transcend themselves, to step out of their comfort zones and do things that they might rather not do. Definitely this happens when one is in a relationship like a marriage or parenting. Oftentimes it's very difficult, and needing to nurture and parent our children calls us to challenge certain insecurities of ourselves, or oftentimes for religious reasons, to spread the word of Hashem. We're called upon to get up there and speak, even if we're uncomfortable doing it. And we often resist leaving our comfort zones, resist leaving our nature, what we're naturally comfortable doing, and think that stepping out of ourselves will weaken us. It's very vulnerable, and we're scared to do it. And if we do it, we feel that we're just putting ourselves aside for the sake of God. But what we see from this story is a person stepping out of their nature isn't called weakening oneself, or isn't called canceling oneself. Part of the condition of humanity is that when we step out of ourselves, we're actually validating ourselves. We find our greatest strengths the moment we step out of our comfort zones. We find in that vulnerability of entering an unknown space that my nature doesn't like. The nature of the ocean is to flow. My nature is to be quiet. My nature is to be an introvert. And the moment I step into that vulnerable space where I am uncomfortable, I'm not experiencing weakness. I'm actually experiencing a opportunity to experience my most authentic, valid, truest self. A simple example for this would be muscles. that for muscles, how do muscles grow? You work out, the original muscle tissue tears apart, and then much stronger muscle tissue grows on top of that. Part of growing muscle is tearing muscle. Part of growing as a person is tearing as a person, is challenging ourselves, challenging our natures, doing things beyond what we're comfortable, doing things that, taking on challenges where we might fail, and realizing that in that failure or in that attempt at something that I might not be so comfortable doing, but to do it because right now the moment calls, Hashem calls on me to do X, Y, or Z. Over there, I'm not going to experience sacrifice, or I won't just experience sacrifice, I'll be experiencing the truest version of myself. As the famous line goes, life begins outside your comfort zone. There's an interesting study I once read, which says that humans are the only species, only living things that enjoy spicy food. However, there is one mouse called the Chinese tree shrew that also enjoys spicy food. It enjoys spicy peppers. But when they studied why this mouse, different than all other animals, enjoys these spicy peppers, they found that it doesn't have the pain receptors to the spice in the spicy peppers. It appreciated the spicy peppers because it didn't hurt, so it just tasted like a regular pepper. Which means what makes a human being unique? The fact that he tastes spicy, it hurts him, but he appreciates it anyways. Why is a human different than all animals, that everyone else runs away from the pain of spice, but man appreciates the pain of spice? And the answer is, part of the human condition is self-transcendence. A human will never reach his potential, will never be human, as long as he's just sitting in what he's naturally comfortable in, never being brave enough to step into somewhere, to step into the unknown, to meet Hashem's calling of him, even if it means transcending himself. Part of the human, and this is what makes a human different than an animal. An animal has its nature, and it can never change. It can never step out of that nature. A human being is never stuck in his nature and is always called upon to achieve a miracle, to step outside of his nature, and to realize that that is life's experience. Life's experience is not, the experience of the ocean is not found just in flowing. The experience of the ocean is found in splitting. So too the experience of the human is not found in naturally flowing. The experience of the human is when he splits his sea, when he's able to put himself in check, enter new territories and terrains to grow and to be Mekayim his shlichus, where he might not naturally be comfortable. And in that experience itself, he's able to find his greatest strength. Have a great Shabbos.